And the drum roll, please. Welcome back, Coach Nudelberg on the whirlwind tour. He goes from Italy to cheese country.
To Madison, Wisconsin. And let me tell you, it is not easy to get in or out of Madison, Wisconsin. We were skating on thin ice, both getting there and leaving, but thankfully travel worked out, things went well, and we got to spend the weekend in Madison watching some people get married. It was a beautiful wedding, but it's a great tour around the cheese state. And I had a great time, made some great food, saw some beautiful sights, met some great people. Shout out to Bill, made a good friend in Bill in Madison, sitting at the bar Friday night. It was really cool. Good stuff.
You know, it was funny when you got there, you sent me a picture of a beer and cheese balls.
Yeah.
When I had gone to Milwaukee, it was like the same thing, man. It was like we went to the opening of Five Serve Stadium, Five Serve Arena, where the Bucks play, Milwaukee Bucks play, and I was invited to the VIP room, and I was like, all right, this is cool. I'm going into the VIP room, cheese on top of cheese on top of cheese.
And lots of beer. Yeah. But Midwest people are the best. They are the nicest people on the planet. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed sitting at the bar Friday night and then sitting at the bar Saturday for the early games before I went to the wedding. And just met some really fantastic people, made some friends, learned a little bit more about Madison, Wisconsin, and what to do, and I had a great time.
There are no strangers in the Midwest. Everybody makes you feel
nice,
like you're around.
That was the steak at Johnny Delmonico's, which was fantastic, and that was my walk. Like, that's the Capitol building, which is in the very center of Madison, and the sky was so gorgeous. As I walked past it, I was like, oh my God, like snapped the picture and then continued my walk on the way to dinner.
Johnny Delmonico's is actually a Midwest. There's a couple of those. So when I would go to Cleveland, which I was going back and forth to Cleveland a bunch, right next to my hotel, there was a Johnny Delmonico's, which
works.
Great name for a restaurant, right?
Yes. I mean, so on name alone. So I found out actually that I sat at the wrong steakhouse. The best steakhouse apparently in Madison is Tornado Steak. But as I was doing the research on Yelp, they were all in the top three. It was Tornado, it was Johnny, and it was one other one. And I was like, I'm not going to a steakhouse named Tornado Steak. Like, I'm out. They lost
That's
me.
What you have at a carnival. Right?
But so I sit down and I start talking to this guy, Bill, next to me, who's VP for a solar company or an energy company up there. And we're going back and forth. And he's like, technically, the best steakhouse is Tornado. He's like, but I like to switch it up. That's why I ended up here tonight.
Love it, love it, love it. Shay, quick update on the baby front.
All good. Yesterday, 2 weeks, hit the 2 week mark. So all good. Eating more, sleeping, sort of.
Nice.
And we're
very,
good.
very nice.
Love it.
I'll give you my update. I am in Jacksonville this morning. I will be speaking to a group of about 125, part of a breakout session for Total Solutions, which is the ceramic tile industry. So keynote this morning at 8:00. There'll be probably, I think the registration was about 450. I have the sales breakout, which is kind of cool. So I'm really, really excited. Spent a little time with Papa Noodle yesterday, which was really fantastic. We got to go up there and suffer the agony of being a Jet fan together, which apparently is the same if you're a Dolphin fan.
Yeah, it's not any better it's actually might be worse being a Dolphin fan right now because we're like in every game and then find ways to lose them. But got to listen to Flores's post game, after the loss yesterday. And he says the right things. I still believe in the guy. I really do. It's just hard. It's just when you feel like different parts of your organization are making mistakes at different times, that's worse than everybody making mistakes at the same time because you get no continuity. You get, you got some people working well when other people's are making mistakes. There's no way to create consistency. And that's how you end up almost being good, and it kills you.
I love it. I think you're spot on. And so, do you hang with Tua, do you not? All of this, like, what would it be like if I said to you, Mark, you're out. I'm going to hire a sex offender to come in here and just,
yeah. I mean, and you don't need, like, as an organization, if you make that decision, you don't even know if the guy's going to come in and be able to play. You know what the future looks like. I mean, it's.
We got great content today. I do want to pique the curiosity. Two things. Shay showed me we're staying at the Hyatt Riverfront. So we got here yesterday after seeing my dad. Jake and I had dinner at the Mortons in the hotel. And then the picture on the right there, which is so significant, is every single night I print my calendar or I visit what I'm going to do the next day. And so that particular picture is me envisioning, visualization, big about what the room's going to do, how it's going to feel. And then you've all heard the term sleep on it. I slept on it. All I got to do is show up and I'm hitting a home run, a grand slam, the slam dunk, whatever it is. But it was really fantastic. And watching games there, knowing that we beat Miss Gabby in fantasy. Jake was panicked because
keep your voice down. Keep your voice down.
It was crazy. So let's get to some morning music, and then we got great content today. We're going to talk Sarah Blakely. We're going to talk Warren Buffett. We're going to talk about success leaving clues and follow it. Let's go. Wake up, everybody. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Wake up. Come on, come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in there. No more about to thinking, time of thinking ahead. Come on now. Awesome. So a couple of housekeeping things. You still see the trade dress. We're raising money, for really cancer research. We're focusing this month. Andrew Koenig's mom died of breast cancer, but I don't know about you, man, but cancer is everywhere. It's touching everybody. The guy from Friends, young guy, died over the weekend. The guy who was behind the counter in the coffee shop all the time. So our man Tom Brady not only throws his 600th career touchdown, but they gave the ball away to somebody.
Classic. Classic.
But then there's a guy holding up a sign, a kid holding up a sign. Tom Brady, you helped me beat cancer. And boom, he goes over there, gives the guy a hat, talks to him.
Puts his hat right on his head. Really sweet moment. It was really cool to see.
I was unable to grab the interview. If you see the interview, the kid says, I'm blessed, man. Yeah. Bam. So you don't know what circumstances are coming your way, but you can clearly get around them. How do you get around them? Success and the clues are everywhere. Look at our man, Dak. Boom. So Dak wore this last week. He specifically is talking about mental health, where he suffers from depression and, he needed help. He was willing to ask. I think that speaks to his whole personality is, what it is. And Mark, if a player came to you and said, hey, I need help. I don't understand this. I need more work on this. What's your level of respect for that person?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's willing to ask for guidance, ask for information, like, you talked about success leaves clues. That's one thing. What Dak is talking about is at an extremely different level of being able to get out of your own way. And people who struggle with mental health, they get wrapped in this world where they feel like they're boxed in and can't get out of it. The amount of strength that it takes for them to be able to ask for that help and then what comes from it is unbelievable. And so, shout out to Dak for doing his part in bringing awareness to it and making people know that he struggles with it and how he's overcome it. And just by putting that simple ask for help out there, but that's true for everybody, right? You don't have to be struggling with mental health. If you don't know how to time manage, if you don't know how to prioritize, if you don't know how to do the things you need to do in your life to be successful, the easiest way to get the answers is to ask.
And we could talk the whole half hour about this, because the reality is, this whole idea of becoming an entrepreneur, people think you're supposed to be good at everything. Well, you're not,
right. And know everything.
And you got to ask for help. And in our annual meeting last week, Sam, who's our consigliere, said, dude, you have learned so much over the time, because in the beginning, I didn't know. I had to ask. I don't get it, and I want you to think about your own situations. I do this religiously. I'm in a conversation. Someone uses a word that I don't know. Yeah. And I'll say, hey, great word. What does it mean? What does it mean? Learn right on the spot. Quick learning, So lots of opportunity, great stuff. Continuing in this methodology of being the best you can be. Let's get a little morning motivation from Jocko.
So this morning was one of those mornings where, I wasn't really feeling it. I was, tired and whatnot. Got a little dinged up over the weekend. And, I was thinking maybe it's a good day just to sort of relax and take a day off. Maybe just do some recovery, do some active rest, that kind of thing. But then I thought to myself, I just thought, well, let me just check and see if there's any motivational quotes that I know that might make me go in the other direction. And then I thought of my favorite motivational quote, which is, shut up and go do some burpees. And that's exactly what I did. It's Monday, y'all. Have a good one. Go get some. Out.
God, that was me this morning. That was me, like beer and cheese all weekend, travel, like laundry is piled up. I'm like, I could just take the time this morning, do something else. And I was like, get your ass out of bed. Let's go. We're going to the gym.
So it is a daily competition. And I love the way he is so brutal about morning quotes. Morning quotes. Come on, seriously? Now, I believe in reading. I do affirmations. This morning's affirmation got me jacked, man. I get those in my inbox all day long. I just shared a bunch of that with the client work this past week. Everybody got what my steady diet is in the morning. So I don't allow the brain, the lizard brain, to go, just, who's going to know? Let me just,
the active recovery and the trying to negotiate with yourself of like saying, oh, I won't work out. I'll do some active recovery. Like that negotiation going on in there is a tough one.
Shout out to Todd Pearson. This is what I'm talking about that the LinkedIn community does. He found us. Actually, Rachel Shee is the one that sent him our way, which is great. He's up in Toronto. He's actually had face-to-face coffee with Rachel. She says, you got to tune into the Huddle. He comes into the Huddle, reaches out. We have a virtual coffee on Friday, and it was supposed to be 15 minutes. I think it was 45, but just common bonding, great stuff. And here he is just pounding it away. Good stuff. Way to be here, brother. I enjoyed that a bunch. But I started the conversation with success leaves clues. 21 years ago, a copier salesperson, copiers and faxes, had an idea. She said, I'll take the last $5,000 I have and I'll bet on myself. And that human being has been on the cover of Forbes magazine. I mean, so when I tell people what's possible, she was one of the original or youngest female billionaires. And then last week she sold her company, and she had bootstrapped that company, never, ever took outside investment. And bang, she comes right into it and says, okay, it's time. There's more that we can do.
Yeah, so that's like, and it's awesome. Like, what an awesome thing as an entrepreneur to build it and grow it and never have to take outside capital or sell anything away. But she knew in order to take it to the next level, and in the article that you read, it's really more about them moving into the digital age and being able to digitize the business. And that's what she knew she needed, and she was willing to do it. And oh, by the way, she's a Knoll.
Of course.
You know what she did for the team.
Yeah, I know she's bought us out of like 7 coaches already, and she's tried to fix the program. And she's actually now said that she would not do it again. Right?
No, I'm
After
talking
the
about
last time she funded the experiment with Willie Taggart, which didn't go well. And when they came back to her and said, maybe we made a mistake, can you help us get out? She was like, no, that's your problem. Deal with it.
She took care of her team. She gave them everybody first class ticket for 2 and $10,000.
That's awesome.
Once they sold the company. So
did why do you think, Mark, why do you think she stopped funding those things?
Oh, because she knew that the organization was like, look, guys, I helped you. I can't do it for you. I have to trust that you're willing to do it. I gave you the opportunity to fail or succeed. You failed. You figure it out.
So a couple of key takeaways. So the 21 years, she started with very little money. It was all about an idea. She sold the company to Blackstone. The transaction was handled by all females. She's committed going forward to an all-female board. And she said in the press conference, this is a really important time for female entrepreneurs. So I know Lori and Lindsay and Christy and all of the women, Mary Beth, that we work with here, every woman that shows up here, we talk about the power of females. That was a $1.2 billion transactions. And their commitment is to help diversify the boards of other companies as well. So the Sarah Blakely Foundation, which she created, which is what she spent that money on, is now exclusively focused on females. Your thoughts?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, so Gabby shared a post with me about a woman who stepped up on stage with her baby, with her newborn strapped to her in like one of the harness things. And it was a whole conversation about how she had always been very afraid to post about her, motherhood, to post about her children because of the backlash that happens when people stop looking at you as a professional and start looking at you as a mother and think that your priorities have changed and think that you're going to change and that you're no longer capable. Like there's so much that goes into it that as males, we're not aware of because of the differences in privilege and the differences of years and years of just the way, perception is. So it's just great to see her really pushing the envelope to continue to see growth at the top.
So, the Huddle knows our relationship with Jesse Itzler. We love him. He's a great husband. He's a great entrepreneur in his own right. His accomplishments pale in comparison to her if you were keeping score. But when he shouted out about it, he said, I'm really, really proud of my wife, not because of she sold the company for $1.2 billion, because during the time she was growing the company, they have 4 kids. She never missed a vacation, never missed anything. I mean, So you really want to look at clues when people say, I don't have the time. You can do whatever you want. If you decide you do it, you can make the rules. You can do all that stuff. So she signed the giving pledge, which she's basically giving half of her money to charity. So I think she's pretty spectacular, and I love celebrating her. But there was an announcement last week by Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and the announcement was basically they changed oral arguments in part because female justices were interrupted more than the men.
Yeah.
So wrap your arms around this. I think we had mentioned it in a previous Huddle, this thing called mansplaining or men corruption, where who anointed us as the authority, as the
we
one
did. What do you mean? Who did? We did. That's the problem with history, right? That's what everything is about, and trying to unwind all of the prejudices and biases and all of the things that have been created, because in the history of the world, white males have been the ones making the rules for forever.
It's really unbelievable, when people talk about bias, and we got a couple of minutes left, I'll I'll close the show because we do have a responsibility. Our audience is growing. People love what we talk about here, but we want you to take away real stuff, real actionable stuff that you can go back into your life and say, that made me think. Shay, we have that clip, things that make you go,
Oof. You're asking him to pull something bad. Things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
So
well done, Shay.
That was awesome, man. That was absolutely game-changing, man. That was unprepared.
I had to go.
Not like he has a board that he can just hit a button. Like he's got to go find it and play it.
I gotta scroll down a little bit. I was like,
well done, Shay.
I knew it was in there from this morning. I did my own scrolling. I had planned to talk about Warren Buffett and the power of saying no. Can't do that today. Not enough time. I figured
We'll use it tomorrow.
We'll use it tomorrow because I sent you the stuff and you picked up some stuff. Time management is so key. But let me close out this things that make you go home. Think about your own bias. Think about judgment. We all judge. Oh, look at that person. Look at the way they look. Look at the way they sound. Look, we all have that prejudgment. Then you have guys like Gruden who are not showing you their judgment. They're doing it behind the scenes. Or the justices, Supreme Court, men having a predisposed bias to knowing more than women. So the other thing I ask you is try to wipe the slate clean, for whatever reason. And I am super blessed. I have a large client base of female CEOs who I will tell you, challenge me, make me think. I love what they're doing, and their odds, the odds of them doing it were harder than me doing it. So your last,
I think that's a good challenge, and every Sunday our Get on the Ball emails end with a Get on the Ball challenge. Like, what's the weekly challenge for you? And I think challenging your own initial thoughts, being aware of the first thing that you think, and then asking the question of why you thought that and going deeper on it is a great it's a great practice. It's a great way to grow yourself and grow your own perspectives. It's a great question to ask. I love that.
Good. So that's certainly packed in stuff. We see tremendous role models. You see Dak. You see Tom Brady doing it the right way.
Shout out to Todd Pearson, who says, are you guys good if I recommend joining the Huddle to others? Yes, absolutely, Todd. We would love that.
Right. You see Gabe is here again. Gabe is shouting out all of the amazing content
creators on LinkedIn.
People who are putting together a live stream. Now, candidly, we don't want this to happen, but if there was one person listening and we were able to get to that one person, that's the power of the medium. When I first started speaking, and you can tell I'm jacked up to hit the stage in a few minutes, but I used to run around the stage like a lunatic trying to make eye contact with everybody. And my really good friend, Barry Gottlieb, said to me, he goes, you're there for the one person that needs to hear what you have to say. It was like arrow to the heart. That's why we do this. Somebody took today's message and went and changed their life and changed somebody else's life. If that isn't motivation and inspiration and perspiration, what the hell is, man? Yeah, let's get this Monday started. Let's go, baby. So he fucks up the end of it.
No, I was trying to click it and it's not clicking. Hold on. Let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business.